Hi all, thank you for viewing this week's video. I'm going to go through the stocks that I have highlighted as usual and some of the technical signs that we are looking at all those counter. So I'll start off with 29th of May last week where Yang Zijiang and Venture was highlighted. So if you remember last week Venture, I mentioned that the follow-through buying was not strong and pay particular attention to the support level. So I'm going to go to Venture right now. And I mentioned over here is that pay a particular attention to support level, especially it get to retest as a major support. So you can see this 1496 is actually quite a strong support because it has been there for helping to support the market for quite some time over this long period of time. Okay, and if you were to go further, you will find that up to the latest update, you will find that it broke its support with a significant volume. The volume is quite high. Okay, because over here at this point, you see the volume comparing to those low volume and those high volume. It is actually very close to the high volume side. And if you look at the rebound on the past from the past 2 days, it isn't very strong because first it did not bring the counter back to the resistance over here at 1496, which was the previous support level. So this become a very key resistance right now. So when it doesn't bring it to 1496, that is a first question mark. Second is that the trading volume on the rebound isn't as high as when it sold down. So when this happened, this is actually kind of like being tricky because if this counter cannot continue higher to 1496 on the third day or the fourth day, then it may be a continual downtrend for this counter. So today we see a black candle, and if the closing is a firm black, especially if it hit back to this low, then we may see some more downside, especially if it breaks below 1457. Okay, so we have to keep a lookout. Now if there's any sudden rebound, like I say, if we push it to 1496 earlier, then we may be able to see some recovery if it can break above 1496. But for the time being, Venture remains bearish. Then the next counter on the same day, Yang Zijiang Shipbuilding. So last week, if you also remember, I mentioned that if Yang Zijiang Shipbuilding is able to hold at this 1, 2, 3 level, then we may see some rebound. So on that day itself, it did not manage to hold. Actually, it closed lower. But the good thing is the next day there isn't any follow-through selling. The stocks rebounded above the support level, and then this is where you can see a higher low here, where it pushed the uptrend for the counter back in tech. But of course, for the uptrend to continue, the counter needs to move up above the resistance at 130 to 131. So the counter currently hit 130 already this morning, and then now it's back to 128. So it is going to be a crucial moment for the counter to see whether it can continue its uptrend. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, if this counter was being pushed back to the path of uptrend with this higher low form, so the next will be the higher high, and then we will see 137. Okay, so the next counter will be DBS and Keppel Corp. As I mentioned last week, DBS is expected to rebound, and it did. And then what happened is that this rebound is not convincing yet, because we can see some struggle to move up. So last week I mentioned higher opening and lower closing is a very bearish sign, okay, especially if it's at the resistance. And the example that I made use was venture. So venture, if you don't remember, let's go back and look at venture. So venture, you can see here the resistance was 1540, open higher, then sold down all the way. So for DBS, it actually had this as well, higher opening, lower closing, then the next day trying to fight back, okay, but it filled up the gap before it closed higher on the next day. So meaning to say this gap is no longer valid, and it doesn't provide bullishness to the counter anymore. So then the next day open higher and close lower again, and today it tried to go up again. So it is still overall unknown for DBS, because the bearishness doesn't have strong follow through selling. The third day bearishness over here doesn't have any follow through selling again. So means that it's 50-50 lah. So the bull and the bear, they are still fighting. So here we are going to wait for the final outcome. And if anybody were to take any risk over here to see, if this point, I would take an entry, because I can see some lower shadow, means that there's still some buying pressure. Then your ultimate goal is to see DBS hit 3183. Now if DBS fail on this so-called buying pressure signs, then move back to this 30-31, so it is putting itself in a very bearish situation, because if it hit back to 30-31, it will form a descending triangle, and if it's a descending triangle, then it may be suggesting more downward action thereafter, especially when it breaks below this support level at around 30. Okay, so how does a descending triangle looks like? Basically, a descending triangle is something like that. You see lower high, which is represented by this slanted line, downward slanted line, and then you see a same low. Okay, so the stocks move up. Okay, let's plot this here. The stocks move up, hit the slanted line, move down back to the same low, and then move up again. Slanted line, then go down again. Okay, so the slanted line provide a resistance, and then the flat line provided a support, and when it breaks down below this support level, then it means confirming of this descending triangle, and then we may see more downward action. So the example here is this particular counter, which I anticipated a descending triangle. This is Hang Seng Index. So Hang Seng Index, you will find that it has the same low over here. Okay, and then it has lower high. Let's plot the lower high over here, and then this is where you can see the descending triangle, and then it broke down. Then of course now it's trying to recover over here lah. So basically what you want to take note is that you don't want DBS to form descending triangle. Okay, if it form descending triangle, then it can't be helped. But on the positive side, means that if it goes lower, for those long-term shareholder, especially those who like to collect DBS for dividend, can start to collect at the low, especially around 28.86 and 27.82. That will be a good entry point for some DCA action, dollar cost averaging. Keppel Corp, let's see how Keppel Corp perform right now. So if you see Keppel Corp, it is still hovering around its support level around here, at 629 to 633. It attempted to break down here. You see the volume pretty strong, but then it rebounded to form a hammer pattern. So this hammer pattern doesn't get a follow through buying the next day, as the stocks continue to feel some selling pressure, but managed to hold above the support level as on this rebound. So it continue to consolidate over here. So on the overall picture, this counter doesn't look very bullish as yet, especially it hasn't crossed above this 646 minor resistance, which is a lower high. So the counter has to clear above 646, clear this lower high in order to return to back its sideway first. Then next is to break out 656 to go back into uptrend. So more observation to be made. Next is ST Engineering. This counter currently it's trading at support level, and it is in a risk. Why? Because the support level has been constantly tested. Currently it's on a black candle right now, so which means that this support get tested again. So if this counter don't rebound and close above 368, then it will be a challenge, because the uptrend may be negated, especially when it comes down to 358 and breaks below. Then we may see some uptrend, sorry, I beg your pardon, some downtrend, especially the rebound volume need to pick up as well, because you notice here there's a long black over here, this long black candle, and the volume is especially high. I would assume some funds are offloading. Why? Because only funds has such a strength to provide such a high volume. Okay, so we have to see the buying strength come back, especially crossing above this volume. Then we have chance to see this counter go back to uptrend again. So currently just watch for this level. So 360 to 358 will be crucial, especially 362. 362 will provide a perfect support for this counter to rebound. Breaking below, the chances getting lesser and lesser. Sets is really set currently, especially 254 has been providing a resistance. So the level to clear, as I mentioned, the email hasn't been cleared, so it is quite sad. Oops, got the wrong counter here. Let's click on this sets here, the right sets. So you can see sets right now is hovering here, consolidating, and currently it's forming a hammer pattern, and it needs to have this follow through buying on this hammer pattern, right? So the follow through buying first, if this counter can close at 250, so that is the first good sign. Then the next day close above 254, then the rebound would complete. So the completeness is only, or rather when you see more positivity when you have this counter move back above 263. So this minor support over here hasn't been tested yet, 244, but it will be good for it to immediately rebound, because that will provide an undershoot pattern. So what's an undershoot? Undershoot means that the stocks came close to support level but did not test support and rebound immediately, and that is a sign of bullishness. So we shall see whether sets can do that. Okay, and next will be Top Glove and Capital Land Invest. So Top Glove's trend seems to be up, but it needs to continue by rebounding from the support level. So we shall see Top Glove's key action will be having a recovery right now to close above 33, because now you see the breaking down, especially if it comes down to 30.5, then the uptrend may be gone, so it may start to trend another direction when it hit 30.05. Okay, so if this counter don't recover to 33 today, then maybe you can give this counter a miss, especially when we see this signal, this doji at the support level doesn't have follow through buying. In fact, that day already discounted the counter, looking or decided to wait for more signs to appear. So today isn't a good action for the counter as yet. CapitaLand Invest also the same. You see the nice hammer pattern at the support level. It doesn't get any follow through buying yet, so it remains weak, and we can see more consolidation over here, especially you see it breaks below this support, then it's going to hit the 321 major support level. So especially if today it doesn't recover back to 331, then there's a likely chance that it may hit 319 going forward. So it is a tough time for the counter right now. And next will be Thai beverage today, highlighted because it is trading at this major support level over here. This is the major support level, and what we want to see is it close above 555, and right now seems like there's some positivity here, but towards the end of the day we want it to be at 56, then there might be a chance for it to rebound, because if this counter doesn't close there, there's still chance for it to continue to go lower, especially when it breaks below this key support level. Then we shall see more downside towards 50 cents. Okay, so next week we will see how the market will react, because next week will be a crucial week, especially US is announcing their CPI data, and their FOMC meetings will be next week as well. So it's a crunch week ahead, and if all turns out well, market will go for a strong rebound, and after that maybe more rallies. But if not bad, it could be a crashing moment for the market. So stay tight, be prepared if anything happens to the market, right? Stay aside or run out first. Alright, so thank you for viewing this video. If you like the video, kindly click on the like button. That will give me more encouragement, and then of course share the video. Thank you. Good day. Goodbye.